not as famous as other gaming creepypastas, Godzilla Monster of Monsters has gained a sizable following amongst both internet horror and Godzilla fans alike. As usual, the pasta is based on a cursed version of an old video game. Zachary, who has been a fan of Nintendo and Godzilla ever since he was a kid, gets a copy of Godzilla Monster of Monsters from his friend, Billy. When he starts the game, everything seems normal. The game plays as it should, and Zachary is able to get to Godzilla. However, everything goes wrong once he restarts the game due to a glitched screen. Then he notices Titanosaurus, a monster that was never included in the original game, is there, complete with his own sprite and moves. Zachary starts to think that he got a different version of the game with some more content. However, this theory is shattered once his monsters start encountering other daikajus that weren't even in a Godzilla film when the game was released. The first of these monsters are Biollante and Orga. Zachary then begins to speculate that he got a hacked version of the game. However, as he gets to the later levels, things start to become sadistic. Not versions of the monsters begin to show up. These are odd, surreal monsters that fight the player, despite the fact that their chest sprite looks nothing like them. The levels also start to become creepy, showing apocalyptic scenery and innocent animals getting killed by ravenous raptors. Mini-bosses also start to show up. New icons on the map screen also appear. One of these is a face that asks the player questions that range from ridiculous and laughable to dark and twisted. The face that asks him the questions starts to play weird games with Zach. At some points, it rewards Zach with two new monsters, Anguirus and a demonic bat-like creature named Solomon. However, when the face asks Zach if he likes Mothra, and he replies no, Face takes away every monster but Mothra until the stage is finished. The television icons show Zach odd, nonsensical 8-bit animation, but some of them in the later levels are very, very, very weird. Then, the game starts to taunt Zach in the worst way possible. A monster boss named Red starts to chase the monsters in the ending level for every stage beyond the first one. Later in the game, Red text reminds Zach of a horrible emotional tragedy he went through in middle school. It spells Melissa and kill yourself. Melissa was Zach's middle school girlfriend. She had mental problems and would sometimes remain quiet for hours. However, she was still a kind, sweet girlfriend to Zach. But one night, Melissa had an episode. She ran away from Zach and into traffic. She was hit by a truck and killed instantly. Zach swears to complete the game to discover why such a creature would taunt him about something so terrible. To make matters worse, at the ending of one stage, an angel sacrifices itself in a graveyard in order to buy Godzilla time to escape from Red. When Zach tells Red, "You're going to pay," Red replies by staring at Zach and giving out a loud roar. As he gets to the ending levels, Zach fights the final Daikajus and an amalgamation of the Not monsters. He then faces Red after going through a hellish, demonic, and twisted final stage. These levels consist of demonic dogs, organ serpents, and bloody angels. Then Zachary faces Red. The scary thing about this fight? Every hit the monster takes, Zach can feel in real life. He tries to get up and shut off the game, but his blood runs cold when he finds out he is completely paralyzed aside from his fingers. Red says, "You are not leaving." Zach begs Red to free him. Red refuses, stating that only one will survive. Red fights with his three forms he used in the chase levels: normal, aerial, and aquatic. Red uses hellfire, claw jabs, and airstrikes to try and take down the monsters. Zachary is able to destroy Red's first form with his four monsters, but loses Mothra in the process. Then, Red transforms into his final, gigantic form. The battle is similar to the final boss with Mother Brain in Super Metroid. Red's final form is extremely strong. He kills off all of Zach's remaining monsters with ease. Zack feels excruciating pain all the while. It is also revealed that Solomon used to serve Red until he betrayed him. Red later reveals itself to be the entity that killed Melissa, which is why he knows his name. As Red starts to finish him off, Zack tries to select another monster in the corner of the map. He desperately tries to activate the monster, but cannot, until Red's power is challenged by the Angel of Melissa. She reveals that Red continues to torture her even after death, and joins him in the battle against Red. Zack is then able to free the final monster named Acacius, the Golden Light. With special powers, the ability to fly, and Zack's skill, they are able to destroy Red once and for all. With Melissa's death avenged, she appears with Acacius along with the other 4 monsters. Before leaving, she says, "I love you. We will be together again someday." The following morning, Zack calls Billy to find out what is with the copy of the game. When Billy comes over, he tells him that he did nothing to alter the cartridge, and that he got it from another one of his friends whom he trades games with. They call this friend, who also has no idea why the game is so messed up. The following days, Zack is submerged into a state of depression and confusion. He continues to ask himself the unanswered questions. What is Red? Why did it know him for so long? Was Melissa really in the game? How did she get in? Knowing he cannot handle the responsibility of owning such a thing, he decides to destroy it. When he drives to a lake, he gets ready to throw it into the depths, until he starts having second thoughts. He ultimately decides to put it up on eBay. He lets every bidder know the story, should they win the cartridge. Zachary ends his story by telling the new owner, "Be careful. And if you think the game is literally messing with your mind, shut the damn thing off."